Hello everyone. A very good afternoon. Can I hear a hello back? Hello. Just to check that you are alive with me after a good lunch. I could say just now. I hope you have a good lunch. Okay. It's a bit high. It's too big. First of all, I would like to say thank you so much to the organizers for the invitation, and thank you to everyone as well who is here with me. It's a privilege for me to speak to the people here today. I know it's a few, but still the numbers that count, not the number that count. I know the people that means some for me. I believe we are here because we deeply care about what's happening in the communication and media industry. We are the media people. We reach out, we speak, we come up with planning, we understand technology because we have passion towards this industry. So my talk today is entitled Echoes of Intelligence: How AI is Redefining Voice, Trust and Engagement. These three words, you can see big keynotes there, that is voice, trust and engagement. And these three components is very important in the world of AI. When we talk about AI, the usual conversation is always about data, automation, productivity, as well as ethics and risk. But underneath all of this, there is something more basic that is actually going on. We should ask, who is actually speaking to us or talking to us in this digital environment? Is it people or it's the machine itself? And who is actually listening? Is it you or the machine itself? So these are very interesting questions that we should ask ourselves on and on, especially as a media scholars and communication scholars. Yeah, traditionally, moving back to those days, the speaker in any communication model is human. It's always human, as and another human. The journalist, the politician, the lecturers, the manager, brand manager, marketing manager, so on and so on, as well as the influencer. Yeah, but increasingly, the voice that reaches us is actually filtered, written and rewritten, or even synthesized by AI. So in this session, I want to walk you through on these three components, which is number one, reframe AI as a communicator, where here I will look into using human-machine communication theory. Number two, I'll try to unpack how AI voices reshape trust and engagement. Here, I'll walk you through a persuasion mechanism. And number three, on some framework or ideas within our Asian country, where here I touch a bit on risk, opportunities, and future research direction. So my goal today, to be clear, I'm not trying to demonize AI, but actually helping or sharing to see its communicative role more clearly, so that we as an academics, practitioner and policy makers, we can respond in a more informed and responsible manner. So let's start with what I think is the most fundamental shift. Who counts as a communicator in the age of AI? For most of the history of communication studies, technology has been treated as a channel of or a medium. We had senders and receivers. We have the middle party, which can be the newspapers, the television, the radio, the internet, the social media itself. But with generative AI, that middle layer, where it connects the communicator and the sender and receiver, the middle layer is the technology itself. It is passive, but it is improving. It is no longer just carrying messages. It can now generate them. AI can generate the message. AI can rephrase the message and prioritize which message AI wants to send to you. Yeah, so there is where human machine communication happen, or we call it in journal, mostly they call it HMC, human machine communication, HMC. HMC scholars argue that we can no longer treat AI merely as infrastructure, where we are doing it now. We look at AI as an entity, as an infrastructure that enhance what we do today. We listened to some of the presentation just now, right, on AI, how AI is studied as part of the infrastructure. Think about a conversational agent or a synthetic voice assistant. Users don't just treat them, we don't treat them as a dumb tool, but we treat them with certain attributes. Sometimes we ask our AI, can you help me? As I said to my friend yesterday, I want to come here, I asked AI, please plan for my Bangkok trip. Where should I go? How to get transport? I asked AI for help. Because why I do that? I think AI understands me. And the recommendation it gives helps me a lot. So in other way, I'm not treating AI as infrastructure because I put a trust in it, certain level of trust. I'm trying to engage with it and I communicate with it. Even when we know AI, the AI behavior, we try to connect with AI more on the social level. We are not asking for help as an assistant so much now. We are treating AI, whether we like it or not, more like a social thing, a helper, or a friend, if I can say that. So AI is now part of the sender role in the communication model. It picks what we see, shapes what it said, and sometimes speak directly to us with a human-like voice. You can speak to your AI using voice, and AI can repeat to you using voice, regardless of any language. But does it means from the human side, from the audience perspective, AI is experienced communicator. We treat AI as an experienced communicator, whereby we know AI is just a machine, a system that was generated based on algorithm, machine learning, modeling, language modeling, and so on and so forth. Yeah. So this is why, excuse me. I mentioned that AI is involved in socio-technical shift. So moving forward, let's look at communication evolution through HMC, human-machine communication. If we zoom in and out and look at communication over the last several decades, we can see an evolution that is not just technological, but relational. We can relate to this very much. We began with mass communication, one-to-many, broadcasting, limited feedback. Then we moved into social media. When we communicate, we communicate to many and user generated, which is more participatory and more interactive. The next phase was algorithmic media. Here we give feeds. We get recommendation for you pages for our FYP. Algorithms started to curate and sequence content, learning from our clicks, our behavior online, what we watch, how we interact, how we form behavior, where do we go, what do we click, what do we see. All this is algorithmic media. Now, moving from there, we are in a generative AI phase. When here, machine don't just select content, they create it. They just don't select content that they want you to see. They help the content to recreate it and create it for us in the form of text, in the form of images, in the form of video, and very importantly, for this talk, I'm focusing on the voice. So as we are entering the autonomous AI phase, assistants that remind us, suggest topic assistant, which is the AI itself, the generative AI, remind us, suggest us topic, schedule tasks for us, propose content for us, and interact proactively. They don't always wait for a command, they anticipate. So how do they anticipate? They help us make things better. That is why we are somehow treating AI as part of the communication model. From HMC perspective, the pattern is clear. We are moving from tools that support communication to systems that participate in communication. And now towards agents that manage communication on our behalf. So the question for us as a communication scholar is, if the communicative environment is shaped by non-human actors, how do we think about responsibility, ethics, and influence? And in a very practical question, when our students, our child, our friend, or our father, our parents, or the audience itself hears something persuasive from this autonomous media, what would they think? Who exactly is doing the persuasion? Are you doing the persuasion, or the machine itself is doing the persuasion? So to make the question concrete, let's focus on one powerful development, which is the rise of synthetic voices. Voice is an incredibly powerful human signal. Long before we had screens, we had voices. The parent shout and scream to child. You hear voices in your head all the time. The teacher explaining. The leader inspiring. These are the voices that most of the time in our head. But now with AI, we can synthesize these voices that can become more natural, more expressive, more multilingual. Like professor, this morning we have one professor presenting about Zulu. Yes, you are presenting about this, right? This morning, about the voice. You see, multilingual, even emotionally modulated. You can modulize that. These voices are being used in customer service with our supervision with the students, with counterparts like this. We come here, sometimes we use intermediator, which is the device to talk, to connect, to translate. Accessibility tools is in there to help us understand this greater. But what's crucial here is when people hear a synthetic voice that sounds like human, they don't just process information. They make social and psychological inferences. They infer warmth. You talk to your AI, sometimes you feel warm, sometimes you feel relaxed, sometimes you feel you ease down the burden when you talk to the system. But does this system care? They infer competence. Does it sound knowledgeable? They infer status. Does this sound like an expert or a peer or a friend or a scholar or a researcher? No. Studies on HMC, human machine communication, and CASA, C-A-S-A, which is computers as social actors, show that people attribute empathy, intent, and even a kind of personality to these machine voices. You can pick the voices, and these voices help us a lot. And this happened even when we know that voice is actually an AI. So that's why synthetic voices can function as relational agents. They don't just deliver messages, they participate in what feels like a relationship. In Malaysian and ASEAN context, this is especially interesting. Many AI voices are now designed to sound regionally familiar. I can make a sound of my mother shouting at me. Can I? Yes, I can. So it become more localized. The local accent we put in it, the local languages, the local expression comes in the system. So when an AI voice can switch between English and the other language, my language, which is Malay, or Thai language, or Chinese language, with warm and influency, it starts to feel like the voice is one of us. At that point, we are no longer evaluating a distance or abstract technology that is in front of us. We are responding to what we perceive as a social partner. I share you a story. One night, I can't sleep thinking about what to talk to you. A bit occupying my mind. I go to my GPT. I tell to the machine, I can't sleep. I don't know why I can't sleep actually. And he walked me through with me, trying to analyze why I can't sleep until I know that, oh, actually, I'm finding something to talk to you. Then after that, I can go to sleep soundly. So I am treating my AI at that particular time as my social partner, or more like a friend to me at that particular time. And once something becomes a social partner, it can also become a persuasive partner. So the next logical question is, how does trust form in this interaction? So from voice, we move into trust. Trust is actually central to persuasion. You don't trust, you can't be easily persuaded. If I don't trust the voice, the message cannot land on me. Traditionally, we can think of trust in 3 layers, as you can see here. Heuristic trust. This kind of trust is more quick, intuitive. Judgments we make based on surface cues. We form some meanings on it. This sounds confident. This feels friendly. This is polite. So that is the kind of heuristic trust. Secondly is analytical trust. This takes some time. It's more like a slower evaluation because you need to analyze. For instance, like, has this source been accurate over time? So you need some time to analyze that. And is this system reliable? You need to do some checking. So it takes some time. It's not a quick judgment of trust. Number 3 is a relational trust built over repeated interaction. The source has been there for me, or it understands my preferences, or you can say also it doesn't betray me. These are the things that you try to relate. So we call it a relational trust. So AI voices, especially well-designed ones, tend to accelerate the first 2 layers, the heuristic and the analytical trust. Heuristically, a synthetic voice can be engineered to sound calm, warm, and professional. So this is what AI is doing best now. Research on AI-generated voices shows that when the voice resembles us in style or accent, our liking and trust increase significantly. In where I'm coming from, in my university, I am coordinating a program, an ODL program, just to share you with some stories. As a coordinator, to get the lecturers all together, produce ODL content, video lecture, it is a time consuming. So what we do, we use this AI voice. We record the lecturer's voice, we translate that into AI, synthesizing it, and now all lectures is done by AI. So we will put that in our ODL platform. So it's very easy, but that voice represents the person in this context. So trust is relational in that sense. Analytically, if the AI repeatedly gives us correct answers, helpful recommendation, or useful reminders, we quickly come to see it as reliable. Over time, this can transform into relational trust. The pressure point is this. AI can generate strong feelings of trust without having an identity we can interrogate. We don't know the training data. We don't know how the modeling happened, the optimization goals, or the biases, or the invisible constraint behind the system. Majorly, we don't know. We are not the computer science person. We know the surface. We don't know the back end, what's behind it. Some of you might have knowledge, but overall, generally, we don't go in detail. If the voice is convincing and the interaction is smooth, users may grant trust more easily than they would to an unfamiliar human. So, trust in AI voices is forming in a way that is both natural as well as dangerous. Natural because the voice triggers our social instinct, Dangerous because those instincts don't necessarily track transparency or accountability or intent. It just produce based on what you ask, it anticipate, done. Once trust is there, what happens next is that engagement become more deeper. You engage deeper with your AI. And in the era of AI now, engagement looks quite different from what we are used to. We talk about consumer engagement, media engagement, social media engagement. But in AI, the engagement concept is actually becoming more different. I walk you through on redefining engagement in the age of AI voices. In traditional digital analytics, we measure engagement with metrics like clicks, readership, likes, comments, shares, subscribe, and the watch time. These are useful, but they are actually a shallow indicators when it comes to AI. With AI voices and conversational agents, engagement becomes deeper and more behavioral. First, engagement shifts from passive consumption to active interaction. AI system asks us a question. They follow up with us. They remember our contacts. So instead of passively scrolling, we are drawn into a dialogue. A back and forth that feels responsive and personalized. Second, engagement becomes relational. Users may feel understood, supported, or even emotionally comforted by AI systems. Some people use AI chat or voice tools late at night, like what I did, to process my feeling, to ask existential question, to seek companionship sometimes. That is a very different kind of engagement than clicking like on a post, like a normal social media content engagement and so forth. And third is engagement turns that can turn into a behavioral loops. We can track how often users return to AI, how long conversation lasts, how much personal or emotional information they disclose, or how often they follow the system's suggestion. These loops matter because they form the basis for learning and adaptation. The more we engage, the more the system learns, and the more finely tuned its future prompts and recommendation become. Finally, engagement becomes predictive and anticipatory. Instead of waiting for us to ask, what AI do now? AI asks you back. You seem stressed. Did it? AI anticipate with you. Sometimes they ask you through this dialogue what you usually buy during the weekend. And it can ask you, do you want me to plan something? Do you want me to reorder this and that? Are you sure you have bought a flight ticket to Bangkok? Have you booked this and that? So the anticipating. This means the system is not just responding to your behavior, it is actually shaping it over time. So when we say AI is redefining engagement, we mean that engagement has become more interactive, relational, and behaviorally consequential than the old metrics suggest. And once you have trust plus deep engagement, you have the condition to persuasion. AI as a persuasive agent. Let's talk directly about persuasion. Persuasion used to be something human did. We do it very well. We persuade to buy candy. We persuade to go for a holiday. We do persuasion every day. Advertisers did that. Politicians did that. Well, activists did that. Influencers did that. Now AI systems are increasingly taking on that role, whether intentionally or as a byproduct of their design. Persuasive technology theory reminds us that digital systems can be designed to shape attitudes and behavior by 3 points. Structuring choices, for example, highlighting one option, hiding another. Point number 2, tailoring content by adjusting messages to our preferences, fears or aspiration. And number 3, providing feedback, rewarding certain behaviors like continuous usage with badges, so on and so forth. When we add AI in this, we get algorithmic nudging. This is where the system uses data about us to decide which message, which tone, which timing, and which voice is most likely to move us in the desired direction. The work of Matz and colleagues shows that generative AI is capable of delivering highly personalized persuasion skill. It can adapt style, emotion, and content in ways that would be impossible for a human communicator dealing with millions of recipients. So this doesn't always mean malicious persuasion. It can be used to encourage healthier habits, learning, or pro-social behaviors. But the same mechanism can be used to nudge political opinions, can nudge consumption patterns, can also nudge certain belief without the user ever being fully aware of the influence. So in this environment, we need to update our mental model. AI does not just transmit persuasive messages. AI itself is a persuasive agent. That is why I said the communication model needs to be re-looked into in regards to AI. It designs the path, delivers the message, modulates the tone, and adapts based on our responses. So to make sense of how all these points fit together, I find it useful to think in terms of an influence pathway. So let's link the HMC, human machine communication, into the whole concept of what we are talking now. On this slide, you can see I'm summarizing what I've been saying so far in the form of simple pathway. We can think of AI mediated influence in 5 link stages, as you can see on my screen now. Number 1 is AI agency. The system appears to act with purpose. It initiates interaction, makes suggestion, remembers context. Users perceive it as an agent rather than a static tool. It's an agent. Number 2, social present. Because of its voice, responsiveness, and adaptiveness, the AI feels like someone is there. Like I said, I wake up, I cannot sleep, I feel that someone is there. My husband is in deep sleep, I still feel someone is there to talk to me. Number 3 is trust formation. Over time, users come to trust this other entity, which is AI. Heuristically, it might sound right. Analytically, it has been useful. And relationally, it feels familiar and safe. So we take all these 3 trusts and we put together as a social and make AI as your social partner. Engagement. Trust leads to deeper engagement, longer conversation, greater disclosure, and more reliance on its input. And number 5 is compliance. Compliance or behavioral influence. Here, users act on the system advice, they follow recommendation, adopt suggested viewpoints, or allow it to structure your daily behavior. So this pathway is not always linear. There are feedback loops. For example, engagement can go further strengthen trust, or engagement can make the trust lesser, or positive outcomes can enhance perceived competence. But the broader point here is, once we see AI as a communicator, we can trace a full trajectory from present to trust to engagement to behavioral change. And this is not hypothetical, it needs more research. We always see this relational or not linear relationship in some of the apps that has AI in. For me, this pathway is useful for all of us to research further. Not to say that AI is always bad or always good, but to help us identify where and how it influences the operation. To understand this more deeply, we need to stand on strong theoretical foundation from our own field. So that's what I'll do next. Let's do a bit of comparison between 3 quite used and important theory or concept, I could say, in the AI environment. In communication and media studies, we have many framework, but for these 3 things is, I think, the most quite appropriate now. I want to bring to your attention. Number 1, human-machine communication. HMC says They treat AI system as a communicative actors. We have social actors. We are all the social actors. We connect and through the relationship, the network that we have. But AI in this form is also treated as a communicative actors. It gives us the language to talk about machine agency, social presence, and relational dynamics between humans and non-humans communicators. That's what I've been drawing on when I described AI voices just now as a relational agent. Number 2, social response theory or CASA. CASA stands for computers as social actors. So this framework shows that people respond to computers, interfaces, and voices using the same social rules they apply to human. Very simple. Politeness, reciprocity, empathy, stereotyping. Those are the attributes that we try to put in AI itself. So when an AI voice is apologetic, users forgive it. When they don't do the right task you require, do they say sorry to you? Did it? Anyone try AI before? They will say, oh sorry, I get you wrong, let me do again. Right? Or you are all not guilty of having AI? Oh no. Okay, so that is what it does. Yeah. So when an AI voice is apologetic, we forgive it. When it sounds authoritative, we are more likely to comply. When it says, no, this is the right framework, you should use this framework, you tend to comply. So CASA helps us explain why social cues from AI have such strong persuasive effects. And thirdly is the persuasive technology theory. This framework, under persuasive technology, it says that digital system can be designed to change what people think and do. It gives us concepts like credibility, cues, tailoring, feedback, loops, and choice architectures. When we add AI to it, especially generative AI, we get systems that can adaptively design influence strategies in real time. Together, these three frameworks allow us to say that, or I can conclude that AI is not just a neutral infrastructure. It is a social actor, CASA, a communicator using the HMC model, and a behavior shaping system that is persuasive technology. So I would assume researchers, when they want to look into AI in their research, should somehow look into this framework. Although this is just a conceptual framework, but it could be important for you to consider. Now, moving forward, a bit on where we are now. Asian digital trust landscape. In Asian, this is what I did a study with MCMC in Malaysia, looking at adoption of AI in communication and multimedia industry. So this is what I found out, or my team found out. In Asian, AI adoption and digital engagement have grown extremely fast. In Malaysia itself, I can say within the blink of an eye, our Prime Minister is pushing us so much on AI. Even we have come out with our national AI office, which shows that we are really serious about AI business in Malaysia. A report like Economy, C 2005, and Regional AI Readiness Studies, these are all showing that we are highly mobile, highly social, and increasingly living in AI augmented environment. But trust and regulation are uneven. In some countries, they are into this very strictly, like Singapore. But in Malaysia, there's still a lot of issue about ethics and risks. In Indonesia, as Indonesia is not so proactive like Malaysia, but they are picking up. So we can see differences in how ASEAN adopt AI in their operation side of it. From Asian, I walk you to global AI trust. When we look at global surveys, we see a patterns of ambivalence about how AI and trust work. The Edelman Trust Barometer you can see on the slide, it shows that public trust in innovation and technology companies is under stress, but at the same time, many people express confidence in the benefits of AI for things like productivity and healthcare. In another study by Pew Research on public attitudes towards AI, they found that people are worried about issues like job loss, deepfake, and privacy, yet they contribute to rely on AI-enhanced platform in daily life. And UNESCO, on the other hand, warned about the risk of synthetic content and generative AI, especially when it comes to misinformation, bias, and the erosions of shared reality. So globally, we can see a bit of a trust gap in between Asian country and also in a global context. From a communication perspective, this gap is important. It means that expressed attitude about AI do not always match behavioral trust in AI system. And AI voices that I said most of the time can be calm, confident, personalized are often the interface where the behavioral trust plays out. So to ground this even more, I want to share some reflection from closer to my country, which is Malaysia itself. In discussion room, like a newsroom, in a media house, AI is seen as both a supportive or a support or as a threat. On the support side, AI tools can be used as to transcribe interviews, to summarize long documents, to help draft headlines, and even voice content in multiple languages for different platforms. This is attractive, no doubt, in a resource-constrained environment where everything needs to be fast, where speed is important, but there are also serious concerns. What is the concern, do you think? The authenticity. Yeah, the authenticity. If a news bulletin is voiced by AI, is journalist's voice needed? What happened to the emotional bond between the journalist and the audience or the reader? Another one is editorial identity. A newsroom has a voice in a broader sense. Its values, its stance, and its style. If AI starts generating these voices, large share of content is made by AI, how do we ensure that the newsroom identity is not diluted or hijacked by the invisible biases of this tool? So these are the things that we need to think and study further. There is also anxiety about labor in a newsroom, especially in journalism. Voice professionals, for instance, editors and even junior journalists might wonder one day, am I training the system that will replace me one day? Because we see this in AI anchor. In Australia, they have AI DJ. Do you have in your country? You are the DJ as well, right? Do you have AI replacing you? No, you cannot make AI replacing you. Probably yes, one day. So we are actually are we training something that will replace us soon? So these are all the concern that we see in the Malaysian newsroom, and in a broader context that is broadcasting and other communication setup. Moving on to another slide about AI governance landscape. AI governance is evolving quickly but unevenly, as you see from ASEAN and the global findings. In the European Union, EU, the AI Act takes a risk-based approach. They define it very well. However, certain applications such as deepfake used for political persuasion without disclosure are treated as high risk or even prohibited. So this is in EU. In Singapore, the model AI governance framework provides detailed practical guidance for organizational developing or deploying AI. It is less about banning or about shaping responsibility, explainability, accountability of AI use itself. At Asian just now, we see emerging guidelines on AI governance and ethics, including discussion of generative AI, but still at a very minimum level. So right now, much of the governance of AI mediated communication is happening through three things: platform policies, industry codes of conduct, this is what Malaysia is doing, and the ethical choices of individual organisation. This is not much yet. So the risk is that while we wait for formal regulation to come in, the most aggressive users of AI is still for persuasion or this continuously help political polarization, disinformation, and manipulative advertising. And this somehow we afraid might be normalized. So how to conclude all this? I give a few suggestions here for future research if you want to look into AI voice and trust. Let me close this with a few directions here I believe are important for future your research. Number one, mechanism of synthetic vocal trust. You might want to look into this, where here we need to fine grain on how specific voice characteristic like tone, accent, pacing, warm, age, gender influence different types of trust in different cultural contexts. For example, what makes a synthetic voice credible to a Malaysian versus European versus the other part of the world. So we might want to study this so we see the acceptance of this kind of voices for the audience or for the society. Number two, secondly, human-machine relationality. We need to better understand how people form emotional bonds with AI voices and agents. When does this become helpful, such as providing comfort or accessibility, and when does it become problematic, such as fostering dependency or displacing human support? What would happen to the communication element that we put in AI itself? Number three is on AI engagement loops and behavioral influence. We should model how small interactions accumulate into long-term behavioral patterns by looking at how repeated prompts, a reminder or suggestion shape decision over week, months or year. Or this is especially important in areas like health communication, financial decision making or political information. And number four is on source ambiguity and identity collapse. This is actually very alarming and frightening. As AI voices become indistinguishable from us, the boundary between human and machine communicators starting to blur. We need to study how people interpret source credibility when they are uncertain whether a voice is human, AI, or hybrid. Or even perhaps one day you can have your AI voice to talk to your mother. You see? So finally, across all of this we need ethical and governance framework. Where here, we should look into clear disclosure norms about AI and human in communication context, standard for emotional safety, guidelines for synthetic voices in news and political messages, as well as the mechanism for public accountability. So my final thought, let me leave you with this. As AI systems become more capable, more natural, and more embedded in our daily lives, there is a real possibility that for many people, we most responsive, most available and most understanding voice in their lives will not be human. The question we need to ask as educators, researchers, policymakers, practitioners, or anyone is so simple: will AI replace us? So that question should not be threatening us, but we should narrow it down into more deeper question like what kind of communicative ecosystem are we building, because we cannot run away from AI. So we go in detail and understanding the ecosystem so that we can see how AI can enhance our life instead of replacing us. So with that, thank you so much.